Cheers. As you can see, I just woke up. This is my morning voice. This is my morning hair. This is my morning mess behind me, but I'll talk about that in a second. I haven't been posting much this year. There's a reason for that. You would have thought that suddenly I just popped out of Hawaii and ended up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But the reality is I don't really have a whole lot of time right now to get into the details because I have a lot to do. My mom is coming to visit. This is the room she's gonna stay in. I gotta clean all this mess up. While I'm gonna work on cleaning up and preparing, I thought I would just talk a little bit about month by month what's been going on. If we're gonna start at the beginning, I really have to start in December because that's really when things started to go haywire. December 5th, I had gotten back from last year's University Wushu games. And as I was at the games, I started getting this kind of pain in my shoulder.
I have like this shoulder issue. Right now my arm is really, like it hurts. So I'm trying to find a position that's comfortable to stand in. Oh, that's not bad.
My shoulder was kind of doing this thing and it was really painful. And I ended up going to the ER. Within a day or two, I couldn't work anymore. And then I started getting a lot of inflammation down my left side, my leg, my ankle. It was intense. I had to take a month off of work. I just basically lied in bed all day long, every day, slept as much as I could, given the pain. If I could move, I had to use crutches. And that lasted most of December into January. Clearly, Wushu was out of the question. So then we got into January, but before I talk about January, let me just start cleaning some stuff up here because I gotta get to work. Quick break. Those are all bags over there. Backpacks, slings, things like that. I have a lot of bags. That's not even all of them. Okay, so January. To be honest, it's a little bit of a blur. I just remember trying to catch up with work. Ruki and I, during the pandemic, had sort of thought about having her go to Norway for a master's program there, which is one of the reasons we went to Norway, was to check it out. You may have seen that video. January was mostly just working and just trying to heal up. Got a lot of blood work done, so much blood work, and it turned out it was mostly autoimmune related, comes across as joint inflammation, psoriasis and things like that. And it turned out I have sort of a version of Lyme disease in my blood. It would flare up and give me some really bad symptoms. Lyme disease coupled with autoimmune disease. So a lot of January, February, March was all about that. So I was still not really able to walk at all. So it had been like 3 or 4 months at that point. I was still disabilitated. Is that a word? Disabilitated? Debilitated. I was messed up. Right around January, February, we found out that the governing body in Norway had changed their whole tuition policy. So we ditched the idea for now of going to Norway and started looking at other options. Speaking of other options, this isn't gonna fix itself, so let me work on the bags here. Check out this high school picture of me. Wow. Looking young and smooth. That's hilarious. The Gen 1 Manal travel bag. This is from their original Kickstarter. This is a Gen 3 Manal travel. See, I have 2 versions of the same bag, and I have a smaller version of this one too. So in February or so, kind of started looking at other places we could move to. And I found out about these programs. They're basically remote worker incentive programs. If you can work remotely, they'll pay you to move to their city. And one of the best programs was here in Tulsa called Tulsa Remote. And they basically pay you $10,000 to move to Tulsa for 1 year. I went ahead and applied and I got accepted. So we started hastily making plans on top of trying to heal myself so that I could actually move. The first stop was going to California. This is going to be a pain, all the stuff on the bed. I'm clearing this stuff away first, and then I'll work on that stuff. In case you didn't believe me that I'm in Tulsa, this is what it looks like outside. There's some winter going on. It's not freezing cold, but it is nippy out there. When the sun comes out, like it's peeping out right now. It's actually not too bad. You can see the floor is more cleared off. Now it's just all this stuff. All right, so where was I? Instead of going straight to Tulsa, we decided, you know what, since we have to be in Tulsa for a year, let's get some of our traveling out of the way ahead of time. Go somewhere international for the summer that is inexpensive to live there and will give us kind of an interesting experience. And so we decided to go to Ecuador for 2 months. But first we were going to visit some family. I flew to Long Beach, California, where my car was being shipped, the little yellow Fiat that you've probably seen in videos. I was being shipped to Long Beach. And so my dad lives in Long Beach. I went there to spend time with him. After a couple weeks in Long Beach, I drove up to the Bay Area where Ruhi was flying in with our cat Milo. Milo does not like flying. We plan to leave Milo there until we make our way to Austin. So we spent some time in the Bay Area. We drove back down to LA, spent some more time with my dad, and then it was time to go to Lubbock for the US team trials. Kind of drove across, went to Arizona. Here's the thing, I actually took a lot of footage of all of this stuff because I thought, you know, while we're traveling, I could put out vlogs on the Wushu Adventures channel. Didn't do any of it. As you've been seeing, I'm interspersing footage from these experiences. So we went to Arizona first. We went to this really cool place on the reservation, drove through New Mexico, the beautiful buttes, and the scenery there was fantastic. And we made our way the next day up to Taos, New Mexico, which is where Ruhi's cousin lives, and he has a restaurant and a shop there. And so we hung out with him, stayed there overnight, and the next day we hightailed it all the way to Lubbock. And of course, many of you were probably there at Lubbock for the US team trials. This was the first year I was actually judging the team trials. The year before, I just finished the judging certification course too, so I did the national ranking competition, and I also had judged for the traditional team trials, but I hadn't done the contemporary team trials before. So that was a really good experience. I think the worst part about being a judge is that you can't film anything, because I like to document stuff, obviously. And also, they have cameras there. Everyone is filming it, so you can see all the team trials online anyway. I don't need to record it. After the US team trials, then Ruhi and I drove to Austin. The first weekend in June, we flew back to Richmond, got the cat. Father's Day weekend, June 17th-ish, I flew out to Long Beach. Surprised my dad, he didn't know I was coming, flying out from Austin. And so that was really cool. Here's his surprise.
You order pizza?
Oh, did you know this was going to happen? Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That was a lot of fun. And then the following weekend, we made our way to Ecuador. And this is really sort of the phase 2 of the summer, because Ecuador was really the first Wushu adventure where I was able to train. And I had contacted ahead of time a school in Quito, Ecuador, where we could train Tai Chi. On the way to Ecuador, we did stop in Mexico City for a whole day. I'd never been to Mexico before. I hope to visit more of Mexico in the future. Flew to Quito, Ecuador, which is the capital of Ecuador. 9,300 foot elevation, 9,400 feet, really high up there. It took us a couple days for our lungs to adjust, but on day 2 of our time in Quito, we already were doing our Tai Chi class. We did Tai Chi with the coach Efrain and also another coach Marco. Mostly just focused on Yang Tai Chi. I also learned the 42 while I was there. A lot of that was documented on my Instagram, so if you haven't checked out Wushu Adventures on Instagram, be sure to do that. It was really nice. We were able to get a really nice modern apartment, Airbnb, for a whole month for like $400. Ubers anywhere in the city from one point to the other is like $2 or $3. You can get a whole meal for like $3. Marco and Efrain, they were super kind, super hospitable. They took us to all these cool places. We got to go up to Otavalo. We got to go to see this mountain lake. We got to eat some really amazing food with them. So I mean, I just can't thank them enough for all their hospitality. They were really cool. So that first month in Quito was really helpful. It helped stabilize my legs. I was able to do some Wushu basics sometimes. I got a lot stronger. Just overall felt way better, especially considering the condition I had been 5 months earlier. I couldn't walk, and now here I was doing Tai Chi in the mountain. But after a month in Quito, we went on to our next destination, which was Cuenca, which is another town south of Quito, about an hour flight. Really nice, pleasant town, beautiful, and we found a Tai Chi teacher there too, thanks to Marco and Efrain's referral, named Patricio. He does Chen style Tai Chi, but he did Wushu before, but he's definitely a Chen specialist. He really knows the application for Chen really well. He's also a master ceramicist. He teaches at the university, and he has some really nice students. There's a Canadian couple that was there, really friendly, really nice people. And we just had a wonderful time. They practiced in the Parque de la Madre there in the city, right next to the river. Beautiful town. I mean, I can't tell you enough how amazing it is in Cuenca, Ecuador. And I know Ecuador gets some bad rap in the news about the politics and crime and stuff, but I mean, just on a day-to-day life situation, it's a really nice place. We were even able to introduce the Tai Chi class to a Chinese couple from Shanghai who had a shop there in town. And we invited them to come check out the class, and I think they're still doing the class to this day. It's really cool when you're able to introduce Wushu or Tai Chi to someone and they're like, oh, this is the best thing ever. You're like, isn't it though? And I know a lot of you know what that feels like because either you were introduced that way or you introduced someone else that way. But Cuenca was amazing, but first I gotta make some headway and get some of this stuff from here down and organized. Yeah, it's slow going, but making some headway. Just kind of working my way through things. Look, there's another bag. Goes over there. I found my Wushu Adventures hat. So yeah, where was I? We went back to Quito for about 5 days. We met up with Efrain, Marco, and them again. We all watched Everything Everywhere All at Once at our Airbnb. We got to Austin August, and originally I had planned to go to the Bay Area for Labor Day weekend because I figured, well, last year I judged at Golden State, but they never asked me. And then when I asked them, hey, do you guys need me to judge? They said, no, we just decided to go with local judges this time. I went back, and instead of going there, I actually went and trained with my old coach, Haljapa, Patty Lee, for the class. But it was wonderful to reconnect with her and to see some other students I hadn't seen in like a bajillion years. It was fantastic. But that was really intense because I hadn't done Wushu in a while. I was really sore after that. This was also around the time I decided to start doing some self-rehab training, mainly ATG inspired. If you're not familiar with ATG, Ben Patrick, the knees over toes guy. Anyway, check him out. It's really interesting stuff. But I started doing some of his program in the park there on my non-Wushu days. Like Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would go to the park and do my backward walking up a hill and do my knee over toe calf raises and tibialis raises. And I was pretty weak in all of these areas. I could tell it was helping mobility back in those joints, which is really important for Wushu. The one thing I realized with Wushu is I have really bad ankle and knee mobility, and that's what this program is all about, is improving those ranges of motion and also the strength through those ranges of motion so that you're less likely to injure them. Mainly we were there also to house sit for my sister and my brother-in-law because they were going to Hawaii for a week or two, and so we house sit them, took care of their cat. Also spent time with my mom. We took her to opera in the park. And since I had done some Wushu, when we went back to Austin, I contacted the University of Texas at Austin Wushu Club and was able to go train with them for one day. I wanted to train more, but the second time my gout started to flare up. It was amazing to train with them. You know, college students have really good endurance compared to middle-aged men. So they were able to go through lines and like catch their breath and go through another line. I wasn't as good. I could do a line or two, and then I had to take like a break for a line and do a line or two, take a break. And when they got into jumps, I kind of just did like wall sits and mabu on the side and stretch out my drop stance. But pretty soon it was time to leave Texas. We did take one trip from Austin up to Tulsa to drop things off in a storage locker. And we also went to Medicine Lodge, Kansas for a powwow out there, an intertribal powwow where we got to watch the gourd dance and eat some food and just explore. I've never been to Kansas before, so now I've been to Kansas. And then we drove all the way back through Oklahoma City, back down. And then a week later, it was time to go. And one of the cool things about Tulsa is that there is a Wushu school here. But let me talk about the Wushu school in Tulsa in a minute. First, I'm going to keep working on this stuff. I'm putting it off. It's not even noon yet. Let me work on this. I came out here and I saw this. Yeah. How you doing? You okay? I ended up taking a little bit of a break. I got distracted by Milo on the couch. Where was I with the story? So finally it was time to move to Oklahoma. And our move day was October 1st. That was a Saturday. And I actually flew up with Milo the cat while Ruhi and her mom were coming up in the yellow Fiat. One of the things Tulsa Remote does is they fly you out to check out the town before you even decide if you want to do it. They flew us out May or June, and we really liked it. So that's how we decided. When we were here then, I went and visited the Wushu teacher here and his school and just had a chat with him about, just want to make sure it's cool to come train with you guys. October 3rd or 4th was the first day I actually did training with them. Right, Milo? The Wushu is pretty intense. They have a very cardiovascular workout. Yeah, they do some running and stuff, and that's tricky on my knees and my joints. I was able to work out there. There's a really nice guy there named Fishatsion, and he loves Wushu, and so we've been training on the Saturdays. It's only been a couple times, and there's some really nice folks at that school. It's just been nice to be in an environment where there's a Wushu school. And also over the past few weekends, we've been here 2 months now, I've done some traveling. Maryland to do the World Wushu, University Wushu Games. We went to the World Wushu Games in Dallas as well to watch that. Saw some of you guys there. And then this past weekend I went to LA for the West Coast Wushu Championship. So I haven't been able to get into the training as much as I want to. I've been sort of working on a game plan for, okay, 2024 is coming up. What are my goals with Wushu in this coming year? What do I want to work on? I'm really hesitant to tell you my plans for the next year because, Wushu 52, I had all these plans for doing stuff and then it didn't pan out. I do have plans for training in 2024, continuing my rehab, continuing my training, but I'll talk about those some other time. If you really want to know, just let me know. My goal right now is to clean off this bed. But yeah, that's been my 2023 so far. Today's the 16th, so there's only, 15 days left in the year until my birthday, January 1st, when I turn 54. Holy cow. Yeah, but I'm still here. I'm still doing Wushu. I'm still hanging in there. If nothing else, I am either an inspiration for older Wushu people, or I'm a cautionary tale for younger Wushu people. Stay consistent with your training. I didn't get full splits until I was like 31. I didn't get head to toe until I was like 34. Because I didn't really work on them that much when I started Wushu back when I was 25. The one thing I wish I had been consistent with all this time is just stretching. It's really beneficial. So if I can say anything to anyone younger out there, just keep your stretching up. While you're watching TV, stretch. While you're waiting for a bus, stretch. Just stretch. It really pays dividends down the road. Take it from someone who didn't do it enough. And it's not like I'm inflexible. For my age, I'm very flexible. Most middle-aged people can't do almost splits. I'm like that far away. So that's nice, but I'm still far from where I want to be. Anyway, I'm going to keep working on this. Alright, so it looks messy, but at least it's organized category-wise. This is all that's left. I gotta go through. I mean, this bed is almost cleared out. That feels fantastic. And there we have it, the finished room. I was able to clean it all out. So, yay. Hey everyone, so this is me again, a few days later, actually like 2 days before Christmas now. And I'm preparing the video to go out, but I wanted to just close things out a bit. By the way, I'm sick now. But I just wanted to say, 2023 has been a pretty crazy year all around. What's made it much more palatable or much easier is just being able to be a part of the Wushu community and being out there and meeting all you guys and hanging out and going to competitions and stuff. So just want to say thanks to you guys for all your support, and I really hope we get a chance to connect and meet up in 2024. Do have some travel planned for this coming year, so I might get to go out and meet some of you guys out there. But in any case, it's been a pleasure. Hope you all have a wonderful end of the year, New Year's, holidays, and thanks so much for everything. Until next time, Jayo.